I think really what money is for people, at least in my opinion, is they want to have good memories, good feelings, good experiences, and money can help create that. Money in and of itself isn't good or bad necessarily. It's just a tool.
Welcome, everybody, back to another exciting show, the About That Wallet podcast, where we help the sandwich generation build strong financial habits so that they can talk about money, spend money, and enjoy their money with confidence. Today, I have somebody who will actually help you take an understanding about your housing, but also those of you who are looking into getting into business, this is definitely an episode to definitely take a deep dive into because we have a lot to get into today, and I do not want to hold back this powerhouse. This person has been doing it for multiple years. I would say a decade, almost 2 decades at this point, and really has driven home the power of really taking ownership of your property and actually helping you get through those financial struggles that you've been dealing with from the day to day. How you doing today, Ann Pells?
Really good. Glad to be here. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Before we even dive into all of this, we always have a story when we're grown up, and that kind of helps mold our character. And one of the things to kind of help understand of where that come from, like what context or like your earlier years to kind of help us understand more about you.
Why I had an interest in figuring out housing and businesses and things was because I was a young mama, had 3 kids under 3, and my husband all of a sudden got this pink slip of paper, and it meant that his job was gone. And that was our only income for our family. And I didn't handle it well. It just, my go to school, get a good job plan went in one piece of paper. And I think that when things happen that we don't plan on, people are losing jobs and things are happening all the time. That there's nothing special about that necessarily, but it was kind of a turning point for me. I realized that what I didn't know that I didn't know was costing me a lot of peace of mind, and we had to figure out money different. And I think time is actually even more important than money. And so often we feel sucked into having to do something to earn money to pay the bills. And we do need to do that. But there are ways to, use less time and earn more money at the same time. And I needed that. So at the time, it didn't feel like very much of a blessing at all. It was more like a bombshell, like, oh my word, there's no money now. And we still got bills and 3 kids, and I can't just go live in a ditch or whatever, right? So it was, I knew I didn't know enough. And over the last 20 years since that happened, I've realized that the price we all end up paying the most for is the price of what we don't know that we don't know. So I'm really grateful now for that journey, because we don't want people to have to take 20 years. I look at my kids now that are having their families, young children, and just like I was, I'm like, okay, we have tools and recipes and resources now that can help them, because I didn't have it. And I felt so out of control. Just everything was wiped out with one pink slip of paper, and it happens. People get in accidents. They have a health emergency, lots of things. And, I think it's just easier if we can learn before, so we don't have to be in the chaos of right in that moment, right? So that was one of the big starting points for us, where we just needed to know more than we knew, right?
Yeah, because the average person we try to hopefully like the average person would just kind of go to their job and come home and just everything will be peachy. But, did you build up some kind of muscle that the average person doesn't have right now just to kind of push them through?
That's a really good way to put it. I love that thought. Financial muscle. Yeah, that's valid. Like the more practice and the more we learn about something, the easier it is to do it next time. Our 20 push-ups or whatever we're working on physically or financially or anything, right? And it's always easier the second time you make a recipe than the first time. So like we go faster now than I did in the beginning of those 20 years. Like we can learn faster, and I'm grateful. I read a couple of books. Can I share those that really helped? Please. And one was Who Not How, meaning that I just needed to find the right people who already were doing what I wanted, the results that I wanted, and be vulnerable enough to ask for help. I wasn't. I was like, I'm going to figure this all out by myself and I'm just going to do it. And I think we go faster if we're willing to, not know everything and ask really good questions, because somebody knows stuff more than we do. If we can just figure out and be around them or read their books or do whatever we can to, 10 minutes at a time. It's surprising how much it adds up. Just 10 minutes to learn something new in a podcast like this or a book or anything we have access to. There's so much good help now that we don't have to feel like we're alone. And I was very frightened, just kind of overwhelmed, and oh my word,
Yeah.
how do we even buy groceries right now, right? When all of that happened. So
because I think a lot of people got close to that was during the recent federal shutdown. Got close to those, and I can only imagine the fear of, it's not even a pink slip. It's more so, hey, your neighbor, your friends or family are all going through it. So you're not going through it solo. But the fact of the matter is that we all in the same boat. We don't know what to do next. You said the great question, which you said something there about asking the right question.
Yeah.
What do you how do you come up with a good question or formulate that good question to kind of get the answer that you need?
Now we use AI. I literally will ask it and I'll just say, I don't know about this. What can I learn? And it will give us some good starting points. And then, I think my first really good question about this was when I was 15, sitting on the couch, and my grandpa, who I didn't even really know what he was doing financially, but in life in general, he said, the word can't is not in my dictionary. And I'm like, yes, it is. It's C. It's between the B and the D. And I'm like looking at him as a 15-year-old going, And he's like, oh, no. Can't, whenever I feel myself or hear myself telling me that I can't do something, whatever it is, change my health, change my money, change a relationship that I'm working on, or if I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I don't know what to do. Instead of saying I can't, I say, how can I? And that, I think, didn't even sink in until 20 years later, bless his heart. Grandpa was trying to, that was my first really powerful question. It's really important to me now, after all the experiences I've had growing up where I didn't feel like I was good enough and I didn't have what I wanted. And, how do we get from here to here on our roadmap of life? And that, where are the ingredients? Where is the recipe that I want for more time and money and just making great memories and having great experiences with people around me? I think really what money is for people, at least in my opinion, is they want to have good memories, good feelings, good experiences, and money can help create that. Money in and of itself isn't good or bad necessarily. It's just a tool, like we would use a hammer to build a house, and I would not attempt that. I would have other people help me. There's just, and so I think being able to ask those questions instead of telling ourselves we can't do it or we're not good enough or it never works out for us, or we, find people around us and partner with them, be willing to, I'm going to work and do everything you tell me to do because I don't have money right now. I don't have time, or whatever we feel like our limits are. I had a friend say, Ann, why don't you just find partners? I know there was a time in our financial journey that our credit was shot. There was nothing. It was really, really hard in the 2008 real estate craziness of our family. And he said, why don't you find a partner? Can you think of anyone around you that would love to do real estate, and people who can get that done for them and create something really good for that person if you're willing to just share with them and partner? And I said, I can't think. So the word can't snuck back into my life. I had to, I think we're all in a place of how can we get the can'ts out and make it so we can have those good memories and the money and the time that we want. And I'm grateful now for all the crazy of the last 20 years. Because, now we can be in a place of we'll figure it out. Something will work out, and someone around us knows something I don't know. And I'm going to be willing to just ask those questions and not be the smartest person in the room. I think it was Henry Ford said that. He knew how to put really smart people around him, and they could all work together to get something awesome to happen. So,
yeah, because I'm believing your story. You moved about 15 times, and I can't even imagine thinking about that, having kids in tow, husband, just getting it. Now, out of those 15 times, how many times was it when he got the pink slip?
Just one for a pink slip.
Okay, one per pink slip.
One for that too crazy real estate stuff. A lot of times just because we had another baby or the job changed. Like one time, finally we had a job, but the company moved 3 hours away. So we could either find another job or we could move with the company. And after that long time of not having work, I thought, you know what? We are just going to be willing to move where the company goes. And so that was 3 hours south of where we had been. And yeah, my kids got really good at meeting new people.
Nice. Can you talk about that?
I'm not sure how they feel about that now, but that's what we did. So but as you know, for housing, if you move that often, you're not really ever cutting into that mortgage payment, and it's very hard. Most people I know don't move every couple of years, but even if you move the typical of what American families move, those first 7 years of a mortgage, you're hardly getting anything paid down at all, and feel like you'll have the house payment until you're 102.
Right?
And that's no fun. So
yeah, because starting over 15 times now. When you say 15 times, were they like renting at some point, or were these actually homes that you're looking to purchase? Yeah,
we bought a home in each of those places when we'd moved there, but then you have closing costs and lots of things that add on for when you're purchasing it. So never really got very far on having a little nest egg where we could create, I don't know how familiar your listeners might be with like Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Dad, Poor Dad, how you want money to be coming in when you're sleeping. And we were like, we know how to do that, but how do we even get started? How do we buy real estate? How do we have businesses or other things that bring income in when we're not spending time on it? And we thought, instead of saying, I could find someone who has a chunk of cash in their 401k or something to partner with them, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to save up all my pennies. And it takes a long time to do that with a typical mortgage. So, a few years ago, we had a friend tell us something we didn't know that we didn't know. And he was like, there's a way to get your house done in 5 or 6 years. And in the meantime, be using all of that money over and over, recycling it to create like faster, safer way to pay the house off and at the same time get the income coming in. And that's where we're at now. But it was a little YouTube video that we watched for just a couple minutes. And I thought, why didn't someone tell us this 15 moves ago, right? Because then I'd still have all of those 15 houses and they would have created some good rental income for us. But we didn't know what we didn't know.
So now you're
I love
YouTube video.
When people can find out more about that and be like us, like, oh gosh, that's something new I didn't know. And it was life-changing for us because within a couple of years, we had half of the house paid off and we could use all of that interest that we weren't paying to start creating businesses and real estate and other things to have income coming in case we ever got another pink slip or another crazy financial thing. And, those are just really unpredictable. All of us are going to have it.
Yeah.
And my same grandpa, always said to kind of keep yourself on the top half of your gas tank. And I think that's true for money and for health and relationships. Let's fill up our gas tank before we're running on fumes, make sure we have enough of everything so that we're not like constantly in that fear and stress and worry that I was when that pink slip happened, So
it seems like you have a lot of resilience, and it seems like you've become really wise over the years, I guess, listening to your grandpa.
Mostly kind of the mistakes we made, right? So I'm going to seed you all up and you don't have to make those same mistakes.
Right. So then what are some specific strategies that people can use to kind of help eliminate their mortgage debt within short period of
And
time.
one of the things that really helped, it's at annsplan.com. That's our website. They can go and get a free phone call there, free calculator, people to walk you right through how that would even look, like be specific to your own income and expenses. If you have this much income coming in, this much expenses, here's what you could do with your house to make sure that it starts paying for itself. And I'm very, very grateful for all of those free resources that are there. If you decide you want to work with them, there's a money back guarantee for a year. Try it. I knew within about 30, 60 days that everything they told me with that calculator was actually going to start happening. And we had never seen our mortgage pay down that quick. Like several $100,000 paid down on the mortgage in 2 years, and being able to use that money over and over again if we needed to for an emergency. And like no mortgage that I know of does that except this one. And I was very grateful for that little video I watched that taught me something I didn't know that I didn't know. And anyway, so annsplan.com is a good place to go. You can also start looking at, they have a website and some other information just free, because we want people to like feel like you can ask a ton of questions. Questions are amazing. Wish I'd been more brave about that all those years. And when someone said, you should have a partner help you, I should have said, well, how can I do that? Instead of, I can't have a partner. I can't have people help me.
How soon?
I lost millions of dollars in the can't part of my life. Like, right?
Wow.
So
yeah,
speak up, everyone. Take my word and don't do the can't.
So when it comes to the basic, I guess you could say, understanding of the mortgage, and in a sense, the framework around paying off the debt.
Yeah.
Is it more so of a mindset shift, or is it just paper to pen? I need to go ahead on and focus on paying down the interest rates, and just even if I have an extra $5, throw it into the mortgage.
If you use the type of mortgage that I have at annsplan.com, I would just everything that you earn goes right into that house payment, and so it takes the principal down. It's a line of credit, and it acts very, very differently than a typical mortgage, and that's why it can pay down so quick.
What type of if mortgage is it? Is it outside of the traditional, the FHA?
Yep, it's the only mortgage we have, and it's a line of credit that we pay. Everything we earn goes into it every month, and then whatever we don't need for the interest payment can help pay groceries, gas, utilities, all the things. And so then by the end of, if you try it with that team, and within a few months, you'll see that all the extra money goes right into paying down the principal, which makes your pay. Like last month, I think, when we started 5 years ago, our payment would have been on a regular mortgage about $2,200 a month for where we live. And I was like, because then there's nothing left over to pay anything toward getting businesses or real estate, other income coming in. And our payment went down to $400 a month, and all of the extra went right toward the principal instead of like a typical mortgage where, if you have a $1,500 a month house payment, only this much is going to go, tiny, tiny bit to the principal every month. And this works just the opposite. It wants to pay your principal first and then a tiny bit of interest. And so I was just very, very grateful. I wish I had known about it all those houses ago. Right?
Yes. But anyway, is it something that people can search when they talk to their realtor, or is it just something that has to go through the Ann's website?
That's the easiest way, just for education and free. But you can also just look for line of credit or velocity of it. I definitely recommend that people get education with it, because I think mortgages are like they're kind of like a death trap. You pay them till you're 102, and the bank gets a monthly payment from you and loves it, but it's really not helping your family get anywhere financially if you have to pay it for 30 years or start over every couple of years like we did. This one's meant to pay down completely within 5 to 7 years, and then you're done. And all of that extra money that you didn't have to pay in interest can just go, like, for example, we can buy a business that makes $10,000 a month in 1 hour a week of time for about $150,000. So all the money that I didn't pay toward my house can go toward helping my kids and us have more income coming in case of emergency, and being able to help people more because we have more, right? We can help someone that got into a little bit of a hard spot or had an emergency of their own. We're like, well, we have something available now. We can help, right?
Yeah. Because going through that time frame of, the kids, I just want to kind of focus on them just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what were your conversations with them when they were younger, especially
about money or about?
Well, just mostly about money.
Yeah. Wow. The things I didn't know that I didn't know. We started learning with Robert Kiyosaki and the cash flow game and Monopoly and all the little houses. And we talked to them about real estate and things, but we had no idea how to even get started because we didn't have a little nest egg or a rich uncle or someone that gave us a lot of money to get started. And then as they got older, like all I knew when I graduated from high school was balancing a checkbook. And now we don't really even use checks that much, right? So I think it's just a process of, again, asking those questions, and let's find somebody who is doing what you want and follow what they're doing. Like find that recipe step by step, and to let it take a little while and just take the next daily step. Like congratulate yourself for starting wherever you are financially, and then take that next step. So that's where our kids are now. They're starting their families and in their 20s, and here's the next step. And why don't you look into this and try this? And you need to have a good accountant and lawyer and different people on your team to ask questions with. And, so one of our accountants one year saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it was not he found it on the last day of the year. And I'm grateful. Like there's a lot of people around us that know more than we do that can definitely help us out way more than we could if we insist we have to figure it all out and do it ourselves.
Yeah, because it seems like you need to have a team of people to kind of get you to where you want to be. So for the person that's out there that, I mean, you seem very approachable and exciting to be around.
Yeah.
Right. So, but because for people that aren't like that, what would you say that's special about you to kind of be bold enough to actually ask people certain questions to help you, or to even be vulnerable enough to even ask the question for help?
I just realized how much it was costing me if I stayed quiet and didn't get more knowledge than I had. It was costing me a lot of peace of mind. Our relationships weren't good, and our health, lots of things. One 90-year-old lady, she just offered to be a listening ear for an hour. And I unloaded on her everything that was bothering me about my husband's health, my health. We were in our 40s. And for heaven's sakes, she said, oh, my son, he's a doctor. He can help with that, right? And I wouldn't have known if she hadn't been open enough to just say, if you ever need somebody to listen to you. So I guess it just cost me too much to be quiet. And I started realizing that if I didn't speak up, I would have the same result that I've always had. And that wasn't enough. I wanted better and more, better health, better relationships, better money, just better and more happiness. And I'm thankful for each of those people. Like I count that as a miracle. All the little pieces of my puzzle. I want the whole plan and the whole thing all at once. Just give it to me so I can do it. But it all kind of came in little pieces. So I think that's the gem of life. Like it comes in 1,000 different pieces, and you learn something from each of the different things that happen. And also I had a friend that said, I get excited when I fail. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you do? But and then I realized what he meant. He said, failure is just if you learn the right thing from whatever just happened, then you could do it different the next time and get back up on the bicycle and keep trying, right? Like Edison, when he did the light bulb. And for heaven's sakes, I'm so grateful for electricity. But it took, 1,000 tries to get that done. And what if he'd stopped at 552 tries or something, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that gets me to think of one of the things of probably around people saying hey, I mastered this thing. It's more so they mastered it. It's because they tried. I mean, they failed more times than most people even try, and by not giving up on themselves. And that's the reason why I really like hearing about your story, is that you've been through and seen quite a lot of this to the point where, like, hey, it's a no-brainer at this point for you. Like, this is the way it works. You should follow these rules and these steps, and you will be successful.
And it'll work out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
something
when it
good is just right around the corner. And if we give up just a little bit too soon, it'll cost too much.
Yeah. And when it came to your husband not giving up, what type of jobs were y'all doing to kind of, make ends meet when he got the pink slip?
Yeah. That was a really interesting time, because at that same time, all the jobs in his industry, stock market had crashed, about technology jobs that he knew how to do. We actually ended up going back to college again just to buy time. Like I know people are like, okay, I'll be an Uber driver, all those little things that can be done now. And 20 years ago, the only thing we could think of to do at the time was to go back to school and take out some student financing, try to have a couple more years to look for work, and then be ready to start again. And obviously, I was so grumpy. It cost us a lot mentally and emotionally to be in that place of, but I'm grateful for it, because it made me really, really, really motivated to ask and start learning. All right, how can we not have that happen again? Or if it is going to happen again, that will at least be more prepared for it the next time. And, like that test question you get wrong on a test, and then you're like, okay, I never want to get that one wrong again. So that's how I felt at the time. We're like, okay, we got to start reading books and figuring out and we got to do it different than we did it. And I'm grateful for having to do it different. I wasn't for a long time. Like, man,
we got to do it again.
But now I am really grateful for having to, we got to do the wallet different. We got to do the money different and we didn't have a lot of people. I think we don't have people around us that naturally know that. They haven't been taught either. So they're not going to know what they don't know. And so it's just a process of being a really good detective and asking, looking around. I mean, now we have the internet. We can look. There's a lot to learn.
Well, and I guess that's kind of like the bad thing about the internet is so many options and you don't even know where to start. Right. So it's like you don't look up a recipe for an apple pie until you're ready to make an apple pie. Like you don't look up the recipe for an apple pie because you're about to make a blueberry pie. Now it's like, what do I need? Because when it came to you buying a business, started getting into buying businesses and purchasing them.
For sure.
Is there a particular recipe or what are the essentials for purchasing a business?
I think I have five generally. And that is that you want it to be in an industry that no matter what's happening in the economy, that income will still be good. Doesn't matter. People are always going to want a plumber, an electrician, or someone like that. If the toilet's running over, they're not going to say, well, we'll have to wait till next week to fix that or whatever, right? So think about things that people are going to have to use all the time. Even if the economy's terrible, they're still going to need groceries. They're still going to need, some basic things like that. That's one. And the other is always look for locations and teams inside the business itself that already are running well. To me, it's way, way easier if you're doing the recipe that grandma's done on her chicken for 50 years or the apple pie recipe that they already have tried, So find a business that's already working well instead of trying to have to start fresh and figure out all of those puzzle pieces to get that to work. And then look for teams of people that have already done that and be willing to pay them to help you get that done faster and better than you could do by yourself. Because I spent 15 years of my last 20 trying to do it myself, and it's very slow because I only knew what I knew instead of being more like the Henry Ford that we talked about. You're always going to be able to go quicker if you find automation. That's my last three: automation, systems, and teams that are already working to do what you need done. And I have a team at lifegiverlegacy.com, for example, that you can talk to and just learn from. Or if people want to email me, Ann Pells at gmail.com. That's the one I look at the most. And it was really helpful to me to realize that, like, there's a ton of people that are 70, 75 years old, and they've built these amazing businesses, but they don't have anyone to sell it to or give it to in their family. And when we can take that business that's already doing really well and find someone who wants to have that income and have a team help them run it, then it's a really good recipe for success. It's already been working well, and easy to be able to step in and help that previous owner feel great that everything they worked so hard on is going to still do some good in the world, still be out there making it happen. But for a new owner and for their family and for their employees. And, it's just win. Everybody wins in a good recipe like that.
Nice. Yeah.
And you don't have to do it by yourself. Gosh, don't do anything by yourself. Because that took too long.
And it's sad that a lot of us like to do it ourselves, because they always say, well, you don't want somebody to know where you're going and don't want to know your plans. What if I
can't trust people to do it right? And,
right.
But then if I have to trust just me and only what I know, it's going to take forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like that acronym that you use. It's FAST, which is the funding, automation, the systems, and teams. It really is helpful for people who are taking notes while we go on through this. As much as I am, I'm down here as well. So this is great. Because managing a newly acquired business does take time. So what was your first business that you acquired?
Yeah, we've tried lots of things. Our first one was affiliate marketing, meaning that someone else had something that we liked, we used it, and we're just going to be paid to share that with people. And that was fun just because I'd already used those things. I knew that they worked and it could help people. It definitely wasn't bringing in a lot of money toward let's replace the job income and never have to work again. But it did teach me a lot of things. Like, I think everything that we do always teaches us for the next thing. And all of a sudden we realize that all of that time that we spent figuring out how to do this part right here helped us for the next thing that we're working on. And so our first, and then we would talk to people about, after the mortgage started working for us, we started talking to people about Ann's plan. And that's been life-changing because literally in the last 2 months, 3 of those people that I talked to about that did lose their job. And it was okay because of that kind of a mortgage. That kind of a mortgage, you can lose your job and still keep making the house payment just fine. And we didn't have that 20 years ago when we got that darn pink slip. And so it's just really fun for me to watch. Not fun that they lost their job, but fun that they were able to be like, okay, I'm okay. We can handle this now for a while. That we wouldn't have been able to do if we didn't have that kind of a mortgage. And so that's one thing that we had done. And then right now we're in the process of just finishing up buying 3 more that are already running really well, been in business for 15 or 20 years each, and more in those, the same, like plumber, electrician, and things that people just need. So even when the economy is really wild, like in 2008 or 2020 when COVID happened and we all went, whoa, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm grateful. And even this week, I found a company that we liked, but it's not something that I would feel really skilled in doing, but I put it out on a little message to some people and said, hey, are you guys interested? And they are. So I'm always glad to give ideas and help other people because they're trying to do the same thing. Everybody's trying to make something good happen for the people around them that they love. And, if I can help them win, or, I feel like if all of us help each other, we'll all get there better and faster than we would if we were like, no, I'm just going to keep it all for myself. I don't, I'm only going to worry about me instead of just, how many people can we help? And,
yeah, I think that's a African proverb that says you can go fast by yourself, but you can go further with somebody else.
Together. Yeah.
Together.
Love that. Yep.
Yeah, because, taking over a business is one thing. Like, where do you find these businesses? Like, do you just kind of talk to people, or is it just like an online thing? Because we hear
There's
about like
actually
leap.com or
tons.
whatever.
I think if you
Oh,
just
really?
search online and you say businesses for sale, you'll find
Mm-hmm.
hundreds and hundreds of websites. I have a few favorite ones. One's called quietlight.com, buysell.com, websiteclosers.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you just want to find people who can help you. If you don't have a lot of money for down payment, find partners. I didn't, and I wasted 10 years of time
And
that I could have been buying real estate or businesses or things because I wasn't willing to say, I don't have any money. Do you want to help with this? And be willing to, because, think of all those people I could have been helping
yeah.
instead of waiting to do it all by myself. So that's all I would say. If you don't have the right credit score, you don't have money, you don't have, I don't have, don't worry about what you don't have. Just figure out a way that you can help people with what you do have and what you do know. And
So then, because I'm sure the person is listening, it's like, well, then what do I do now? Because what is the value add? Yes, you found the company, but
yeah,
what are the things that you had to come to the table with? Was like, okay, well, you have the money. I'm willing
yeah,
to do what for this business?
yeah. Well, and you might even know people who can help them run it. And that's valuable to some people because like a busy doctor that's on emergency room calls all the time, he's
Uh,
probably got money, but he may not have time to even think about how to do all of that. So literally when that person told me, why don't you find a partner? They meant that if I just brought them in, the partnership would run the rental or the business for them and we would share profits. And because I introduced them to partnership, it would be valuable to them, but they wouldn't have to spend any time on it. So I think that's the win. If you don't have money and you want to partner with someone, you're willing to spend time getting it all set up so that it has that automation systems and teams, and you use your time and they use their money, and it becomes this really good little partnership because a lot of people you either have one or the other. And when you have both, that's what we want,
right.
both time and money. When you're first starting out, you might not have a lot of money, so you can use your time to help other people who do have money or do have other resources. And I wish I hadn't
Yeah.
waited 10 years to figure that out because, think how it's like those 15 houses. Wow, what would have happened if I'd known 15 houses ago? What
Yeah.
we don't
So,
know that we don't know is very expensive.
So that will get to now for the person that's listening, which my audience is the sandwich generation. They don't have enough time on top of their 9 to 5 to also deal with the kids and also caretakers of their parents or even
Right?
planning to take care of their parents.
Right?
And you mentioned to try to help them out within like 1 hour of work a
Yeah.
week. So can you break
Yeah.
down what does that look like and how somebody can get there?
Yeah. That's the 1 hour is on my lifegiverlegacy.com. There's a team there that will help with businesses, and they actually go out and look for the business for you, help you get the money to buy it, and they help you manage it afterward if you want them to. And that's how come it just takes me 1 hour. I get to be grandma and take care of my parents, my children, all those things. And they are willing to put in the time. And I was willing to just pay them a small, I think you can start with $1,000 and then work your way up, whatever makes sense for you at the time. Just talk to them about the options and see. But it was worth it to me to have their help because they've already done hundreds of businesses, and someone who's already done it, they're going to be faster at making that work than someone who hasn't. So that team was very helpful to me. And of course, there's all kinds of people that have money and they want to let their money be earning a good return. And so that's the other partnership is, once you find those businesses with this team, have them help you find it. They'll help you find the money to do it. It doesn't have to be our money. It can be other people's money. It can be the bank's money. And if it all makes sense and still makes a good income, then I think it's worth it. It's faster to have that money coming in, even if you have to gather the money from a lot of different places. instead of thinking you have to save up $100,000 all by yourself for the next 10 years before you can even do anything. Let's just explore the how can I part. How could I partner with someone who already has everything I need? They have good credit score, like that word can't, it stopped me and costs so much time and money and stress. Instead of saying, all right, how can I figure this out? How can I do it?
Yeah. Because I'm thinking of so many of my listeners that have come to me and just trying to figure out a way to make ends meet with little income and little time.
Right.
And I know you mentioned far as some of the high earners, they have little time. And then some of the people who have little time have more time, have little income. So it's just kind of like how do you find that lovely balance? Yeah.
Yeah.
To make that work.
One book that I read that really helped me was called Time Machine.
Time Machine, I heard that one.
And the one that really, really made a difference for me is called Limitless by Chris Crone. Just because it took me out of that place of I'm not good enough, I can't do it, I don't know what to do, all those things. Able to have my permission to read the end of the book first. My husband always laughs at me because sometimes I just have to read the end of things to make sure it's going to turn out good. But that one I read the end first, and it helped me to be not in the I'm not good enough, I don't know how to do this, it never works out for me thing. And then you start seeing all the possibilities instead of all the obstacles. I think it's like being in a hurdle race.
Okay.
You're trying to get over all those hurdles that are in your way. If you have someone hold your hand and help you jump them and look past where you are right now to where you want to be and focus on that where you want to be, then pretty soon, before you know it, you're there. You took a few more steps today, a few more steps tomorrow, and it might seem like it's going to take forever, not making very much progress, but I think those 2 phone calls, the business team that we have at Life Giver Legacy and the other team at AnnsPlan.com, they just opened up a whole bunch of possibilities that I didn't even know. What I didn't know that I didn't know. And I'm grateful for that because it taught me a lot.
Yeah. So are your kids now?
It doesn't need to be a really long thing. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. So are your kids now following the same models that you put out there, or are they trying to do their own?
Some of them are a little more skeptical. They're just watching to make sure it's all working right. But some of them are following right along, and I'm grateful. I mean, mostly I'm just grateful that if they ever got a pink slip or some crazy thing happened in their own lives, that they would know they could come and ask questions and get help right here close in our family, but also just to know that somebody's out there cheering for them and there's hope, right? I think hope is the biggest thing. When we don't have money and we don't have time and we're frustrated and we don't have hope, then it gets harder and harder. But if someone can just open up that little window and be like, you know what if it was this way? And what if mortgages didn't have to be till you're 102? And what if it really did work the way that you're learning? And because I don't think we get a lot of money help in our typical schooling, high school and college and the regular places like that where people are at school. I've learned a lot just from other people around me, not at school. So
yeah, I know several people in my network are working with politicians and actually pushing through a lot of the laws for their local states. So I've seen their action, and it's actually been working out really well to kind of make it a mandatory course to take finances for high school before they even get to college. And then I think some of them even got down to middle school. So,
which is good, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I think about back in the day, I was like, yeah, I mean, they had economics in middle school, and then there was economics in high school. I didn't pay attention. It was just there to get your grade, have fun. But now I just kind of wish I actually did open up a brokerage account when we were talking about it.
Yes, right. And you'd be surprised how much, just a little bit at a time, it just starts adding up.
And they talked about it too. They was like, if you just put $20 in, but first off, you didn't say what website or what company to go to. Because that's the thing. A lot of people, like, we talk about all this stuff, but the biggest hurdle is always starting. Where do
Yes.
you go? What are the steps? Even if it's like, when you got your first bike, it might have been like with the banana seats and the
Right.
big U handlebars. But
That's
that's your
right.
starter bike, but
Yeah.
now the bike's a little different, but at least you started somewhere to now
Right.
that you are a little bit more educated to kind of shift and do things
Yeah.
as needed. We just need to
Yeah.
start.
Right.
Yeah.
The book Have It All was really cool for me too, that way. As in, like, life insurance can be like a bank, and it can help you earn income too and still be life insurance at the same time, right? There's a lot of things that we just didn't know that we didn't know. So
Yeah.
I
And
definitely love learning. And I think people want to leave something behind, that their life and the life of people around them was better because of what happened for them. And anyway, that's my other favorite little book for kids, called The Butterfly Effect. It has a lot of pictures, and it was about George Washington Carver. And someone
mhm.
found him in a burlap sack in the middle of the Civil War and raised him like their own. And because they were kind and helped him, he was able to feed millions of people with what he did for figuring out how peanuts work, and for heaven's sakes, right? So
Yep.
you just never know of the little piece of good that you did to help someone, that it might ripple out for thousands and thousands of other people because of what you figured out and shared with somebody to help. So
Yeah. So with that, like, we're talking about the future. So like what habits do you feel that you're focusing on right now to kind of improve your life?
I have recordings in my phone that
Oh,
help me
nice.
to not ever be in that can't place again. Like, how can we? And so I listen to those for a few minutes every morning while I'm getting ready or doing other things or getting some exercise. Mindset's my first step. And that's one thing I do to help with making sure that I don't waste time being in the can't space anymore. And then, of course, I think just being willing to celebrate your wins. I don't think we give ourselves, kids are really good at finding the joy in everything. They're so
Yes.
excited about all the stuff. And as adults, we think we have to be so serious and put our nose to the grindstone and just do it. And I think we get a lot more done when we're willing to, like, write down in your phone or wherever you can remember, write down all the good things that happened that day. I found out about this book. I talked to so and so and they taught me this thing. Or like, let's write them down and celebrate that today we were better off than we were yesterday. And tomorrow we're going to be better than we were today. I think that momentum comes a lot more from celebrating everything that's going right, instead of focusing on, like, oh my gosh, I got this bill and I've got to pay. I mean, yes, we should be real about where we're at currently, but also just realize that that's a current hurdle. And after we jump over that hurdle, we'll figure out the next one, and we'll figure out the next one. And I believe that we're given answers and help. Things will come up right when we need them, and we'll get the help we need. So
That is good. I mean, I really like that you do that in the morning because a lot of people don't. That shows
yeah,
that,
I learned that the hard way, but
right.
can't costs too much. We have to be in the how can I spot so we can save ourselves lots of time and heartache.
That will definitely be the title of this show. Can't cost too much.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before we dive into the final 4 questions?
Just don't be afraid. There's so many good things out there waiting, and you deserve it. Every one of us was born to do something awesome, even in a really tiny way, only for a few people or a lot of people, doesn't matter, but we were born to do something amazing. And the faster we figure out how to do that, there's people around us that know how to go faster and safer than we do. We just need to be willing to try something we haven't tried before. I kind of like the same foods all the time, but my husband's like, let's try something new. So it's okay to try new things, and it's okay to fail. In fact, celebrate and be excited when you fail, like my friend told me. I'm still working on that, but yeah, it's okay. Like, it's just going to be the next thing that you learned, and then you do better next time.
Yeah. So what is I guess one more question for futures, I guess, which is What is it that you're looking forward to failing?
I am looking forward to choosing something that didn't work financially so that I can prevent other people from having to go through that. I'm also looking forward to failing on my, I am so excited to have a better health journey too. And that meant that I kind of like spending plan and instead of budget, and food plan instead of diet. I mean, let's just have a plan that has tiny little steps that we're going to actually do them and succeed. Because then we can celebrate every day. And then no matter how many days we get, like none of us know how many days we get. So we might as well have as much fun as we can while we're creating those plans of tiny, tiny little pieces that get all put together to make something awesome happen. So it's good to have little failures and things that didn't go like we planned. Like, I think the biggest starting point of what didn't go like I planned is the biggest blessing now. That pink slip of paper that drove me bonkers and went, is a really good big thing now, because I wouldn't have even wanted to know anything else about money if that hadn't happened. So
Yeah, okay. So I like that. It was your catalyst moment.
yeah,
Tough times, but we got to go through them. You survived them all, and
not everyone
obviously,
does. None of us are going to get out of it. We're all going
Right.
to have crazy stuff that happens. And
but we made it this far. So
yeah,
celebrate the win.
from the answers we get wrong on the test, we do so much better the next time, and it's good. Yeah.
Yep. So you ready for the final four?
Sure.
All righty. Number one, what does wealth mean to you?
I love that. Love is a beautiful thing. It means that I love myself enough to love other people around me and to let them be them. They're going to do it different than I do it. And I can choose to be loving. It doesn't, I don't have as much control over other people and all the things that are happening around me, but I can choose to have love about it and be at peace. And then I don't have to waste a lot of energy and time in the worry and doubt and fear. That's just dark and lonely and scary to be there. If we're in a place of love for ourselves and other people, then anything that happens will be good. Maybe that's why my friend could say he was so excited about failing. What if I reach out to someone and I'm trying to make a better relationship with them and they don't want it and they're actually mean back, and I have no control over what they're doing, but if I can choose to be in a place of love for myself and for them, then we can give them as much time as they need to get past their own, I can't do it, I'm not, things that they're probably thinking, or they wouldn't have been that mean back. Yeah.
Yeah. Number two, what was your worst money mistake?
Oh, we trusted the wrong people and put all of our money that we did have into one big investment that was supposed to be amazing and pay us income for the rest of our lives. And it was also going to be helping some people who needed jobs and housing. And I thought, great, our money will be putting to good use. And it turned out that wasn't. They went to jail. We had to start over. But I had a little tickle in the back of my head before we made that choice about where to put our money that said, and you probably need a little more information. So always listen to those little tickles in your heart or in the back of your head going, not sure about that, not sure about that. And because it was, that changed a lot of things. We had to change where we were living and how our income was working then to another start over time. And that's what I learned. Listen to how you feel inside about something. If you're not comfortable with it, ask more questions, take some more time. Don't rush into stuff. Don't feel like a panic and I've got to figure it out right now. Just wait until you do feel good about something and then do it. Right. But again, don't be afraid to try new things, but be careful. And always, of course, never put all of your money into one place. Oh my goodness. That's the biggest. We put it all in that one thing, and then the one thing didn't work. And yeah, so that was a good bunch of learning there the hard way. I wasn't excited about that failure, but I'm grateful for it now. It wasn't really cool at the time, but yeah.
I'm sure there were some plates thrown around that day. It's like,
I know, right? Gosh, so many tears and just overwhelm again in that place of, oh my word. But it was because I didn't listen to the little tickle in the back of your head that goes, I don't think you know enough about this. And if you wait a couple of months, anyway.
That's okay. Number 3, is there a book that inspired your journey or changed your perspective?
So many, but The Butterfly Effect and Who Not How and 10x is easier than 2x. It's true that for many, many years, I thought money is so hard. Oh my gosh. But what if it's not? What if we just need to find the right who to show us how to make that great apple pie recipe that God knows how to make, the money recipe that we want? What if we just need to find the right who to create that money is actually easy and time is actually more important, and that we want to have more money and more time, and that both of them are possible. So I loved that book, and I always love books in general that help me to feel like everything's possible, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. So those are 3 that I loved.
Got it. Number 4, what is your favorite dish to make?
Oh, you know what? My favorite thing to make is anything that other people make because it'll taste so much better. No, I love crock pots because I feel like you can put the ingredients in there and just know that dinner's done. We don't have to worry about it, and it's happening. And typically 5 ingredients or less. But honestly, if someone else will make it, chocolate. Anything with chocolate in it. Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
I might have to change it to what is your favorite food to eat?
I know, right? Yeah, no, right. I love all things Italian and pizza and all kinds of things, but definitely chocolate's up there. That should be another food group.
I mean, they just came with the new pyramid, so you might be able to slide that in there.
I'm good. Yeah, right. Which doesn't mean I don't have a food plan, but it means that chocolate gets in there a little bit. We have a money plan and a food plan and a exercise plan, and just trying to have a lot of celebration and happiness every day. All those plans are awesome, but also have fun, right?
Yep. So this is the last question of the show, which is, where could people find out more about you?
Oh, I'm on LinkedIn. But also at annsplan.com for the houses. And we have people that help us save a lot of money on taxes too. But then at lifegiverlegacy.com for how do I get that real estate started that I don't have to worry about, that's just going to be on autopilot with systems and teams. How do I get those businesses done for me? I like things done for me. I guess that's why my favorite foods are the ones that are done for me. And money should be done for me too. How can I have that happen by other people that can do it faster and better than I can? And so lifegiverlegacy.com and annsplan.com are good places to get more information, see what can be helpful.
Love it. So, and this has been an amazing time. You've shared with us your downfalls, your ups, how you actually living life to the fullest, while still having fun without sacrificing too much. And I just can't thank you enough. And to me, my life lesson throughout this whole episode really is going back to the who, not how, and also the patience with myself and learning through all of this. So thank you so much for coming through, and this has been a fun time. I'm
grateful. It was totally wonderful to get a chance to be together, Anthony. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Y'all have a good day. We out. Bye.